Hey guys, my name is Caitlin and welcome back to my channel. As you can tell by the title, today I am here with 5 benefits to lovers MM romances that I really think or hope that you will enjoy. Benefits to lovers has to be one of my favorite tropes ever in romance novels. I mean, the whole notion of trying to keep something casual and then going and falling for that person anyway, it's the biggest, or one of the biggest cliches in romance novels, and I just love everything about it. So without further ado, here are 5 benefits to lovers romance novels that I have been loving recently and hope that you will love as well. The first book on this list is Offside Play by Becca Steele, and this is the second book in the Love the Game series. Jude is a professional soccer player in the UK, but when his season comes to a rather abrupt end because of an injury, he decides to surprise his brother in Canada who's playing in the NHL playoffs. He may have also had some plans to explore his newfound bisexuality while he's over in Canada because there is much less risk of someone recognizing him over here than there is back in the UK. But what he hadn't anticipated is hooking up with the hottest man he's ever seen on his very first day in Calgary. What he definitely hadn't anticipated was finding out that the man that he just hooked up with the night before is actually his brother's teammate. Jude and Cody try to come to agreement that it's never going to happen again. I mean, there's no future for them. They are professional athletes in 2 different countries, but for some reason, the chemistry between them is undeniable and they just can't seem to stay away from one another. I actually finished reading this book very recently. I loved it. I cannot wait to get a copy of it to put on my shelf to join the rest of my Becca Steele. Where are they? Right here. It's gonna go right there. And I'm so excited. But some other things that you can expect in this novel as well. It is a grumpy sunshine romance. It's a sports romance, seeing as our protagonists are a soccer player and an NHL player. And one of my favorite things ever, it features a scene where one of our protagonists gets injured and the other one kind of loses their shit. One of my favorite things ever in a novel, and if you also love that kind of thing, I have a whole shelf dedicated to it on my Goodreads, so be sure to check that out if you want some more recommendations. Or I can do a video about it. We'd be here for a long time. I have way too many. The second book on this list is Hooks In by Eve Holmes, and this is the first book in the No Holds Barred duet. Technically, I could just reference the whole duet because both books focus on the same couple, but for the sake of simplicity, we're just going to say book 1. Ty and Luca are MMA fighters who have been battling it out for the top spot for years. They are so similarly matched in their skills, despite Ty being a grappler and Luca being a striker. In their latest fight, and the fight that we get to read about at the very start of the book, there's a little bit of a reward dangling over their heads, and that is the fact that there is a coach watching this fight, and it's kind of a known thing that whoever wins this fight is going to be picked by this coach to move to St. Louis, train in this new gym that he is opening alongside a team of other hand-picked fighters. So both of them really want to win this, especially because winning this fight and getting that spot in the gym brings them one step closer to fighting in the UFC, which is both of their ultimate goal. Despite them both thinking that this is their chance to get rid of the other once and for all, imagine their surprise when they both turn up to the gym and find out that they have to be fighting each other as teammates now, not rivals. The more they train with each other and the more time they spend with one another, the more their dynamic shifts into something completely different, and they realize that they're no longer fighting each other, but they're fighting this weird tension that has developed between them. As I mentioned, this is a duet, so book 1 is a HFN, happy for now, and then book 2 continues their story and it is a guaranteed happily ever after. And honestly, book 2 picks up right where book 1 left off, so if you can binge the whole thing, just do it. A few other things you can expect in this novel: it is an awakened sexuality romance. It's also a very, very big enemies to lovers romance, which we love to see. Obviously, it's a sports romance focusing on MMA fighters. It features a fantastic found family trope, definitely a grumpy sunshine, opposites attract type romance here as well, and once again, features a scene where a protagonist gets injured, and I was so here for it in this book. It's written so damn well. Book 3 on this list is Goaltender Interference by Brigham Vaughan, and it is the first book in her new Score and Chances series. I probably shouldn't call it a new series because there are 2 books out at the moment, but that just means more to binge. The very last thing Connor needs in his life is more complications, so you can imagine that waking up in bed next to Toronto's goaltender Jesse Weber after having a little bit too much to drink at his brother's wedding wasn't exactly on his bingo card at the moment. With a failed marriage and 3 kids under his belt, Connor might be ready to admit that he's attracted to men, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he has the capacity to act on it right now. He's too busy trying to captain his own NHL team, live up to his family legacy, bring home another Stanley Cup, and on top of that, juggle a very strained relationship with his ex-wife. So when the news comes out that Jesse has actually been traded to Connor's team, and Connor's GM says, hey, I want you to put him up for a little bit, keep him in line, you know, make sure he's not acting out too much. That throws a little bit of a spanner in the works, and since it's the GM, Connor doesn't really have much of an option other than to say yes. Jesse is determined to not be another complication in Connor's life, but he's also determined to show that there is more to him than just being a bit of a troublesome player, starting with showing his captain that there is more to life than just playing it safe. And if that means acting on the chemistry between them, well, that's just a win-win. The other tags and tropes that we can expect in this book are all kind of self-explanatory. It is a sports romance. Obviously, we're following some NHL hockey players. It's a forced proximity romance since they are living under the same roof for the majority, if not the whole of the book. And I have also tabbed it as a little bit of like a colleagues romance since they are teammates. This next one I have. I was like, but where is it? That's the question. I was so torn on which book to pick for number 4. I had 2 options, and honestly, I think I'm just going to talk about both of them. But the first option that we have is Bossy by N.R. Walker, and this is a standalone romance. Michael Pearson doesn't really need any complications. He is so career driven, and he is one of Sydney's best corporate real estate agents, so he kind of only really has time for one night stands at the moment. And then we have Bryson Schroeder, who has just come back from 2 years overseas, and he is determined to leave behind his family's hotel empire and start his own business. On Bryson's first night back in the country, he's out at a bar with some friends catching up, and he sees this gorgeous blonde man from across the bar. And you know, they start talking, they leave together. The rest is history, but they do set some rules in place, and they've even made their way to the front cover. No names, no details, no complications. Alas, it only takes one night for them to realize that the chemistry between them is insane, and they both want a repeat again and again that kind of lasts for like a few weeks, but they manage to keep their rules in place until one day their professional and their personal lives collide, and now their identities are out in the open, and they've already thrown 2 of their rules out the window, so now they just need to decide how complicated they actually want to get. This is such a feel-good romance. I have reread this book so many times. I always reread it when I'm in the mood for something light, very low angst. Bonus though, it is set in Sydney. We love an Australia rep. Now, I can't help myself. I have to talk about the second book that I was vying between for the 4th book on this list. And if you're like, Caitlin, why didn't you just pick both of them? That's because they're both by N.R. Walker. And I felt like it was cheating slightly to put both of them on the same list. So if you're in the mood for another N.R. Walker book, another one set in Australia, I would highly recommend Private Charter by her as well. I won't delve into it too much because it wasn't on the original list, but essentially we are following Stuart, who works this very, very high stakes job, and on his doctor's insistence, he decides to book this 2-week trip on a sailboat with his current fling. I guess you can call him. The night before, or the morning of, I can't remember which, his fling actually picks up the phone and is like, hey, I'm not coming. Enjoy your 2-week vacation by yourself. And so it's just Stuart and Foster, who's the guy who's going to be sailing him around for 2 weeks alone. They both think the other is gorgeous. They are confined to a yacht for 2 weeks. I mean, you can see where this is going, right? Of course, Foster is a little bit more hesitant because this is his job sailing tourists around, and he doesn't really want to do anything that might put that at risk. But the more they get to know each other, the more they realize they actually have so much more in common than they originally thought. And, you know, shit happens, right? That's all I'm really going to say about that one. I would highly recommend both of these, though, if you are in the mood for some N.R. Walker or just benefits to lovers. Alrighty, the 5th and final book on this list is P.S. I Loathe You by Isla Olsen, and this is another standalone romance. This book had me hooked from the get-go, and if you're anything like me, I hope it'll hook you as well, because not only is this a sister's ex romance, it's a sister's ex fiance romance. Sign me up. Wes and Devin actually can't stand each other. Like, Wes thinks the worst decision his sister ever made was saying yes when Devin proposed, and he thinks the best decision she ever made was calling off the wedding 2 weeks before the big day. Wes thinks that Devin is overbearing, uptight, pretentious, and unfortunately, devastatingly attractive. But if Devin happens to star in some of his solo fantasies, that's fine, because no one else except Wes is ever gonna know, right? Well, when it turns out that the guy that Wes has been emailing online, struck up a little bit of a bromance with, shared some of these fantasies with, turns out to be no one other than Devin himself, who may have also shared that he has some fantasies about Wes. Shit is about to hit the fan. This book is so fast, so fun. I absolutely loved it. It is of course an enemies to lovers romance. It is also an opposites attract romance. And of course it's also got that forbidden relationship aspect as well, seeing as Devin is Wes's sister's ex-fiance. That's a bit of a mouthful. Those are all of the books that I was going to talk through today, plus an added bonus, you know, just because I can't shut up when it comes to books that I love. If you've already read any of the books on this list, please let me know your thoughts down below. And if you haven't but plan on adding any to your TBR, please let me know that as well. I absolutely adore seeing comments when you guys are saying that you've added something to your TBR. Makes me feel like I've accomplished something. But also, feel free to let me know down below if you would like recommendations for any other tropes. I am more than happy to film recommendations videos. I love them. Feel free to leave a comment down below if you have any requests. But yeah, that's all from me. Thank you so much guys for tuning in and watching, and I will see you next time with another video. Bye guys.